Hello, I am Fahima Hosseini from Sharif University of Technology, and I'm glad to be presenting our paper, Decompose-and-Compose, the compositional approach to mitigating spurious correlation. To understand spurious correlation, let's take a look at the water-based dataset. The task is to classify images into water bird or land bird, and the birds are on either water or land background. However, most water birds are on water and most land birds are on land background, meaning that there is a spurious correlation between the background and the label. When we train a model with empirical risk minimization, or ERM, which is a standard training regime in machine learning, the model tends to rely on spurious correlations as shortcuts and fails when these correlations do not hold. In this paper, we target spurious correlation between regions of images and label, and we propose Decompose and Compose, or DAC, that does not require information on the spurious regions and mitigates spurious correlation by intervening on samples. Before getting to the method, let's take a look at the data generating process. Causal and non-causal concepts cause observable causal and non-causal components which make the image X, and the label is assigned to the image based on the causal components. However, there is a spurious correlation between the non-causal components and the label, but we can break this spurious correlation by intervening on the spurious components. But to do so, we first need to decompose images into causal and spurious parts. We argue that the attention map of a model trained with ERM can be informative for distinguishing the causal and non-causal parts of an image. As an example, in the water-based dataset, it seems that the model generally attends more to the bird or the causal part of images across the whole training set, and on the other hand, in the dominoes dataset, the model generally attends more to the spurious parts of the images, and this is more evident on the samples on which the model has a low loss. So we can say that based on the relative easiness of inferring the label from the causal or non-causal parts, the model generally attends more to one of these two across the whole training set. Now, given this observation, we propose a method called adaptive masking for decomposing images into two causal and non-causal parts. Given a model trained with ERM and an image, we first compute the attention score of the pixels of the image by XRADCAM. We then gradually mask the pixels with the lowest attribution scores and measure the loss of the ERM model on the masked images, and this results in a plot which you can see here. The elbow of this plot shows the optimal amount of masking which captures the most predictive parts of the image. Now, if the model has attended more to the causal parts, as you can see here, the remaining part after masking contains causal components. However, if the model attends more to the spurious components, the mask captures more spurious parts, which you can see here. Now that we can decompose images into two parts by adaptive masking, we propose a method for intervening on samples. Given two images, we first extract the masks using adaptive masking. Assuming that adaptive masking captures the causal parts more, we can replace the non-causal parts of the first image with the non-causal parts of the second image to obtain a new combined image which has the same label as the first image. Now, using the mask and combine module introduced in the previous slide, we want to retrain the prediction layer of an ERM model on an augmented version of the training data such that it becomes robust to spurious correlation. Given a batch B, we first select the samples of the batch on which the model has a low loss. We then combine the samples of different labels using the mask and combine module which has been introduced previously, and then we feed the original batch and the combined images to the ERM model. The final loss for updating the prediction layer is a weighted sum of the loss of the model on the original batch and the loss on the combined images. Since we do not know that adaptive masking captures the causal parts or not, we train the model under two assumptions and choose the correct assumption based on the worst validation group accuracy. The first assumption is that adaptive masking captures more core components, and the second one is that adaptive masking captures more spurious components. In this case, we invert the mask. Given the results, we can see that our method outperforms previous methods which do not require group annotation, and also it is on par with previous methods that require group annotation during the training phase. In conclusion, our method introduces a novel approach to mitigating spurious correlation by intervening on samples and has shown an overall better results compared to previous methods with similar group label supervision. For future work, we can have a more thorough analysis of the behavior of an ARM model in different settings, and we can extend our method to the cases of spurious correlation between the attributes and the labels. And we can use more advanced methods for combining images. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.